Hi there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Sables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today I have this project for you. It is using the Serene Garden stamp set and the Garden Scene framelets. The framelets are part cutting and part embossing. So this one here is an embossing die, and then this one cuts out some elements of this so you can set this back and get some dimension. It's very clever. Watch this space, we may be using that soon. But otherwise the dies cut these three flowers here in one, this butterfly, the top of this flower, and the bird. So it's a really nice little bundle, and remember of course that because it's a bundle, if you buy them at the same time using the bundle code, you will save 10% on the price. So let's get started and I will show you how I have made this card. It's very quick and really quite easy. So yeah. Right, Whisper White card. I have mounted up the large stamp, the large corner stamp, and I'm just going to get that inked up just with black Memento ink. Apologies if you can hear noises off. I've got every window I can possibly have open that doesn't then let sun stream in, and my husband is working outside one of them, which is just there, so there will be some noises off, I'm afraid, but there we go. So let's align this up so I can then line my stamp up. I want it sort of as near to the corner as possible without being actually on the corner, and then press down. Now my surface is padded, so I don't need to worry about a Stampin' Piercing mat, but if you don't get a good impression from a photopolymer stamp, remember to hold it down long enough. You know, I was chatting whilst we were holding that one down, but also do try a bit of a padded surface. So I don't need that stamp again, so I will pop that to one side for cleaning later. I'm going to add in an extra flower here, so I'm just going to ink that up again with Memento and pop that there. And I know, whoops, that's not joining up, and I don't care because a lot of it doesn't, so I'm going with that kind of slightly loose artwork. Right, so that needs to kind of dry a bit. I have already coloured in this flower and die cut it with the die and also the little butterfly, so I've got those two pieces already done. I'm only using four colours and the colour lifter. So I've got the Calypso Coral Duo and the Old Olive Duo. These are in stock, and I've also got the colour lifter, which is also in stock. What we don't currently have in stock is the my brain is the new colours. It's pathetic, isn't it, that my brain doesn't work. Right, so while this is still setting, Memento is the right ink to use for blends, but it is better if you leave it to make sure it's really dry. So Old Olive stamp pad and a Whisper White card or card base, and I'm just inking up the small corner to then pop down here, which is still in camera, hurrah. And I'm just going to leave that like that. I'm not going to colour it or anything like that. I'm just having it as a feature at the bottom of the card. So again, I will clean that later. We're going to be mounting everything on an Old Olive card base, and all the dimensions, as ever, will be in the description bar below. Well, not in the description bar, on my blog post, which is linked in the description bar below. So if you open up the description bar below this YouTube video, you will get a link straight to my blog, and it's called the Associated Blog Post. So it's really easy, goes straight there. Right, okay, so first things first, let's do the flowers, I think. This one I'm only going to have to do a little bit of because we're going to be mounting over the top, other end. So I'm going to start by doing some shading, and I'm not going to do anything terribly exciting. It's just going to be very basic. Wherever I think there would be a shadow, I'm just going to put the dark Calypso Coral. Now, I am working on a very hot day. It's about 28 degrees in here, so everything is drying incredibly fast, which does mean that the alcohol markers may not blend quite as well as they normally do, but it's purely a heat thing. Now, I do tend, if I'm doing a larger area, particularly when I'm blending, I like to try and keep inside the lines. I do tend to use the brush end. It has more ink flowing to it than the bullet end, so it does get you a smoother blend. But do be careful that you don't end up with it bleeding outside the lines. And I will come back in a minute and soften that a bit more. And you don't need much pressure on the brush end. It's just, you know, it's flowing quite nicely just by touching to the paper. So don't get too carried away. And then come in with the bullet end and just soften those lines a wee bit. And just by going over those darker lines a bit more, you do just soften those lines, so you get more of a shade and less of an obvious mark. Now, I'm going to come in with our colour lifter for two reasons. A, I want to get rid of where I went wrong. So if I just colour over that, that will fade it back a bit. It won't take it out completely, but it will fade it back. And then I also want to add some highlights. And you can do that with your colour lifter too. So the areas that might be catching the sun, I'm just going to lift a wee bit. There we go. Right, okay, so the rest is kind of easy stuff. Actually, I'll do the old olive first. So I'm going to do the kind of stalky leaves with old olive, and then the bulk leaves with the light olive. Sorry, with the dark old. They're all old olive. With the dark, so I'm doing these with the dark old olive, and the bigger leaves with the light old olive. There we go. And the leaves will be really quick to colour in because they are a big space mostly, so those will be fairly quick to do. So I made the mistake, and you know, you guys may be part of this. I made the mistake earlier this week on my, what I like to think of, my community Facebook page, which is the Old Stables Crafty Hangout, which anyone can join. So I've now got the light old olive. I stupidly posted a picture of an ice cream saying, "What are you doing on this really hot day?" And I had some people from particularly Melbourne point out that actually it's the middle of winter. So apologies if that was you. I do appreciate that some of you are not having the heat wave that we're having here in Oxfordshire. But I have to say we're enjoying it. The lawn I am having to water to within an inch of its life, because otherwise it would look like a parched hayfield. And I know what a parched hayfield looks like because we've got lots around us at the moment, because all our local farmers have been cutting their hay, and as the old saying goes, they have been literally making hay whilst the sun shines. It's a fascinating process to watch, having only recently moved to the countryside. When I say recently, this will be our 4th summer, but this is my first sort of summer, decent summer, where I've been at home during the day so I can watch what's going on. and it is fascinating to watch because they cut it and then they just leave it for a couple of days and they go back and they turn it over with a great big machine, and then they leave it for a couple of days and then they turn it over with a great big machine again, and then they bale it, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant to watch. And of course they are really grateful for this stunning weather that we're having in the UK at the moment, because it does mean that they can make hay while the sun shines. So yeah. Right, you will be able to do a neater job than I have. I have gone outside the lines on some of this, and I will try to not let it bug me. Right, for this flower, because I'm going to actually overlay, all I'm going to do is just go around the outside, just in case any of this bit shows through. It shouldn't, because although it's going to be on dimensionals, it should be, this bit should be hidden, but just in case, I'd rather colour it in and not worry about it. So, a dimensional on the back of that. And again, it's always worth doing your blend before you want to attach your dimensional, because alcohol will lift adhesive off. So you don't really want to stick your blend, your dimensional, right onto the back of your blends, particularly if it's bled through, as it has here a little. It's not a good look. Right, I've got this teeny weeny little bit of edge that I've been saving just for this, which can go there. And then this can go, ooh, just sort of there, I think. And then I'm going to just add, because of the heat as much as anything, I am going to use the multi-purpose adhesive. Snail sometimes isn't our friend during hot weather, or possibly more accurately, hot weather sometimes isn't snail's friend. Literally, actually. The snail and slug population in our garden has been hit quite nicely by the hot weather. I'm not going to complain. Right, our card base. Just burnish that. And then, again, I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid adhesive. And you just need the smallest amount. You really don't need much. This should be sufficient. And there we have it. So there we go. Our second lovely serene garden. And it's really lovely to have a serene garden outside my door that looks almost like this. I mean, not quite like this, but it looks lovely and serene and calm and joyous. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you need any products, please hop over to my online store. You can get to that through, there's a second link in the description bar below, which takes you to my social media and my online store links. Otherwise, you can pop over to my blog post, which, as I say, is immediately below, and you'll see all the stuff that I've used listed, some better photographs, and a link to my store. And of course, we are now in that time where we're doing a brilliant, or two brilliant July promotions. If you join my team in July, as well as the £130 you can normally put in your £99 starter kit, you can also put one of the Colour Family ink pad sets in. So that's 10 ink pads, which are valued at £63. So you can add that on. £193, thank you very much, of value for £99, delivered free. So really worthwhile if you've got a large order, or if you've been toying with the idea of joining up. Now is the moment to do it. Just hop over there. There's a link to my online to join on my blog post, so just have a look at that. There's lots of information there as well, and you will have until the end of December to hit any minimums. If you don't hit the minimums, you just drop, it's fine, but it means you'll get discounts on the autumn winter catalogue, the annual catalogue, and the spring summer catalogue, because that will be in pre-order come December. So it's a brilliant time to join. 6 months of discount. You get 20% discount. Marvellous. Minimum 20% discount. And we're also doing a buy 3 and get your 4th free on the designer series papers. and that's the ordinary 12 by 12s, so not the specialties, and the ordinary 6 by 6, not the colour families and not the vellum. But again, there'll be information on that over on my blog. So I hope you found that interesting and informative, and I hope you enjoyed the project, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye!